Did that countdown timer just pop back a minute? Did anybody see that? Good afternoon. Here I am, 2:30 Mountain Time on Thursday afternoon, getting ready for an evening football game that does not include the Broncos, but I'm really happy that they are 5-2. How they did that, no one really knows, but we're glad they did it. Excuse me just a sec. So this afternoon, I thought I would show you a little bit of trickery. Now, the trickery that I'm going to be doing, some people will look at it and go, oh, I know how he did that. And other people will look at it and go, wait, what? How did he do that? Now, you've seen this on thumbnails, but have you seen it live? When you look at a thumbnail on a, for a YouTube video, sometimes the person is in front and the wording is behind them, and then there's a background. Okay. Now I'm in my studio, and so I will just go ahead and show you this so that you can see what in the world is going on. Hang on. I'm cropping my head off. Doesn't sound great, but there. So I feel a little bit better. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here I'm in my office, and there's me, and then there's words behind me. And then there's my background. Now, if you know how I did this, that's kind of cool, but you're going to need a couple of things in order to do this yourself. What is this madness? Well, it's not as hard as you think, but like I said, you got to have a couple of things. You got to have a green screen, and you got to have software that will do what I'm doing. So what you're looking at right now are 3 layers. You're looking at the background, which is the shelves and stuff. And so, hang on. So if I were to take these out, you've got my background, right? And then I'm at the very front. I'm the front layer. The layer right behind me is madness. And the layer behind madness is what is. But I just made 2 different layers instead of just making the wording one. So let's just call all the words. Let's just call them one layer. Fair enough? Just it's one layer. So we're talking about 3 layers essentially. My books and my shelving, lighting in the background, and then there's the wording. That's the second layer, and then there's me. I'm the front layer. I'm in front of everything, right? You got that? So I'm using Ecamm software. This is live streaming software. I use it for recording. I make courses using this software, and I go live with this. And I said, well, it'd be kind of interesting to see how some people actually do a few things like this. This is kind of cool. This would catch your attention. I would think it would catch your attention. I'm not sure. So I'm going to, yeah. So what is this madness? What is this? How am I doing this? How is this working? So I'm going to turn some things off. I'm using a green screen. So what you're actually looking at is not my book case behind me. It's a green screen. It's a green screen. Now, if I do this and try not to break anything down, Now it looks exactly like what it looks like. It's my background. It's my bookshelf, and it's real. It's real. However, what I did was this. I used my camera, obviously without moving it, it's mounted, and I took a picture of that. Okay, I've got a picture of that, of my background. Why I would take a picture of something that's you can see live, and then I put up my green. Oh, let me turn the green screen on. Oh yeah. Well, let me turn the letters off. There. See? Almost the same. Stand up. Put it back up. And so now you know you're looking at a green screen that has this to it. And I don't even have, if you notice over here, I don't have the green screen going all the way off the edge. I didn't adjust the camera, but you can't tell by virtue of the darkness of my room and the curtains on the side. Right there's a wall, and these are blackout curtains that goes to a very bright afternoon sun. Can't have that coming in. Excuse me. So I've got the background. And then all I did, because the green screen is a layer, I just added the wording in the middle. And so it is kind of easy, but it's also something that you could use to really catch people's attention. So what is this madness? It's just layering. And like I said, I'm using Ecamm software, ECAMM, Ecamm software. And I use it, like I mentioned, to go live, to do a bunch of stuff like this, which is kind of cool. And if you're watching and you see this, you come on, and I can welcome you by doing this. And that came up as a layer right in front of all the other layers. Just think of everything as being in layers. And then I could do this just to let you know that we're live. No, there's no sound for that. There's no cheering and stuff. I would have to cheer for you myself. But we are live, and it will automatically just go away in a second. There it goes. There it goes. So this is the madness. Something just powered off. I got to stop doing that. That's my speakers. When I unplug my speakers and put them in my earphones, my speakers stay on, looking for something to amplify. And after a while, it says something. So what is this madness? Again, it's just layers. And let me think, what else can I, now if I turn the transparency off on the green screen, because part of this is the green screen chooses a color, hence the green, and I don't even have it very well lit. But if you take the green screen and turn it off, it's just green. But I also have it marked as transparent, which means whatever's behind me or whatever I choose for background, that's what it's going to show. If I turn off the transparency, it's going to go to something that's standard stuff, a brick wall. Or what other backgrounds do they offer? A castle. I could be in a castle. Green screens are fun, and you can really get lost in them, like really lost. Long dark tunnel lost. And right now this is me just playing with the software. And all of that goes away when I click transparency, and then it picks the background that I have chosen. And this is the background that I have chosen. And that was it. This is all I had to share, but I wanted to show you how I did it. Again, think of everything in layers. I can turn me off. What is this madness? I can turn off the madness, and so here's the layers. I'm going from the front to the back. I guess that may be obvious, but The front layer is me, which is the camera. The next layer is the madness. Third layer is, what is this? Madness. And fourth is the background itself. And because I turned that off, it went to a preset background that I had up in this screen. And it's set so that it's the background in every screen that I've got. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I could turn this off and go completely dark. And although the Halloween thing is coming on, I do have some set screens that I can use for a background. And that's just way too late 1960s a bit. And we can go completely wood. But because I'm inside of a frame, the wood does not work. And then there's just the... So I've chosen this, and my second choice would be that one, but I choose this one, and I didn't put anything around. It's just the it's just the background. But when we go back to this, what is this madness? Ooh, and I didn't turn my green screen, or well, I do have my green screen on. I've just got this. I don't have the actual background. There we go. What is this madness? And if you notice on the M on madness, it's slightly cut off, and that's because that's the edge of the green screen. So if I were to take this madness and pull it up to the front and just make it just a little bit smaller, center it up again, and then pull it back down, then I have the whole M. I've just kind of fixed a problem. If anybody's listening and you have any questions, I'd love to answer some questions. Or if you're watching this later on, which is fine, love to have you do that. Leave a comment, leave a question. I appreciate it. The comments and me responding to the comments is a big deal. If you have some questions about something that I'm doing and want to know if I can do variations on a theme, let me know and I'll make a demo of it. But in order to do this, you don't have to have Ecamm software. You can probably do this in OBS, which is open source, which is free. It's a little harder to use. I've used it before. It's a little harder to use, a little harder learning curve, but you can do it. And that's free. Ecamm has a free version and a paid version. And there's some things you cannot do on the free version. I think one of them is green screen. I can't be sure because I've always had the paid version. So I've just always had the paid version because I like it so much, obviously. Excuse me. So, and then of course you need a green screen. The green screen that I'm using is like the old projector screens from high school. Pull up the projector, or they actually have them over the chalkboard and they pull it down. Well, this is a stand that just stays on the ground. They've kind of perfected the whole process. So this is only about a year old, and you can just pull it up. You got a green screen, push it down. Don't have a green screen, and I put it up on end and tuck it in the corner, and so the footprint is only about this big, and it sits in a corner, so it takes pretty much no space at all, which is what I really like. And it takes me 30 seconds if I work slowly to set it up. So, and that green screen that I'm using is from Elgato. And I'm doing a poor example of it here because this side should be a little more lit. Should be even lighting. And it obviously shouldn't have this black strip down the side. That's just the edge of the green screen. That's all that is. I just can't push it over anymore because there's a wall there. So I have to move the camera and move everything else. And I just didn't want to do a whole bunch of moving of what I've already got set up, because when I do turn this on, you really don't know, because my background is kind of dark. So if I did that, you even can't tell. It doesn't affect me doing any of this. It just goes off the edge. And so the green screen, that's how that works. You just have to, stop the madness. So if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. If you're watching this later, I guess this is going to be kind of short. But if you have any questions about me and my YouTube journey, my The whole deal, by the way, my name is Bill. The whole deal of my YouTube channel is to show some fun things like this. Mostly it's about the journey of me growing a YouTube channel and how I'm doing it and how fast it could be or how slow it could be, depending on how much time you put in during the week. I did have a goal of doing so many videos a week, but because of my family commitments, my time is extremely limited. But that's not going to stop me. That's not going to stop me. And it shouldn't stop you either. You figure out a certain amount of time, and then you just get at it. So I am the madness. What is the madness? I am the madness. I could sit here and just play with this software all day long, show you all these different things, and you may or may not get bored. You may never watch me again. I don't know. So I just show little tricks, little things to do one at a time. And that's where I go with this. So if you have anything you want me to show you, either with Ecamm or with regard to starting a YouTube channel, doing your own YouTube, working on your own YouTube journey, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer questions either live or use your questions in the comments as the topic for the next live. And it's going to be for the foreseeable future, it's going to be every Thursday at 2:30 Mountain Time. What's that? That's 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern. If you're in Atlantic Canada, where I have relatives, it's a 3-hour difference. So they're having supper. So I guess they're not watching. That's okay. Other than that, I am. What am I? What am I? I guess I'll just dial it out with just a little bit of music. No, I'm not going to dance. I will have a drink and salute the Broncos on my way out.